the circle, pushing forward, wanting, but also needing to see. For some time, my sister's most frequent questions were, "Could you see the bone? And how much blood?" Rania befriended Martin Higgins at school, who was prone to long nosebleeds. She was always coming to his aid when he was bleeding across the school field during sports lessons or after too much sunshine, which disturbed the delicate blood vessels in this pale and nervous boy's nostrils. Whilst the teacher struggled to stem the flow with cigar-shaped cotton rolls, Rania would be by her side, holding napkins and asking, "How many pints do you think he's leaked? When will he start clotting? Will he pass out? How long will he keep bleeding for?" Usually about an hour and a half. For some time, my parents harboured a belief that their eldest daughter might train as a doctor or surgeon. It was a short-lived fantasy, as it quickly became apparent that Rania wasn't the slightest bit interested in healing anything. She was just morbidly inquisitive. My parents checked their ambitions and downgraded their hopes to dentistry, followed by pharmacology, then podiatry, until, a little while later, they abandoned all hope of the sciences. Beginnings. My name is Ruby. I am skinny and superfluously tall. I am skinny because I've inherited both my parents' propensity for growing thin bones. If you met him, probably you would think my father is short. He tells us he is not unusually so for an Indian man, but by European standards, he is willing to concede. When my family says that I am too tall, I assume they mean both in the Western and Indian sense. I suppose I should say at this stage that both my parents are normalish talkers. Let's get that out of the way straight off. I'm not much of a talker by whatever standards you choose to apply. The first time I spoke out loud at school, I said the word sister and tripped all over it. I tried a second time, and my tongue got caught on the middle syllable hiss and hovered there. The third time, a teacher asked me a question, and I opened my mouth as a sort of formality, but closed it softly, knowing with perfect certainty that nothing would ever come out again. I was certain about this the next morning, and even more certain about it the day following that. I uttered absolutely nothing. It became the most certain thing in my life. I was tested for oral dysfunction, mumps, and general stupidity. For a few months, I was even sent up to a clinic to sit in a room with a young doctor. She passed me a cup of broken crayons and some coloured paper to draw whatever my mind rested on. I think I knew at an early age that this doctor's job was to gently fish inside my head to get right to the bottom of my talking problems. Because I was a pleaser, I tried very hard with my crayon drawings, and it seemed important to be especially curious about whether the little dolls she placed in my lap were wearing knickers. In those sessions, I drew as if my life depended on it. I drew forests, seething with all manner of creatures, and I made up a complicated bubble family of rainbow-filled characters. I drew wild deserts and used up all the precious gold crayons for sand dunes and wasted all the browns on engorged cacti, which seemed to irritate the doctor at the end of our first session. Ruby, what if another little girl or boy wanted the gold crayons for their special drawing and they were all used up? Just think how very sad they might feel. And the way she looked at me at that moment made me feel more wretched and ashamed than anything else up to this point in my life. Even more ashamed than that time I ended up peeing on Mrs. Henderson's yellow welcome mat in reception because I couldn't unstrap my dungarees in time. At the end of the sessions at the clinic, I would place my array of paintings on the floor for inspection, and the doctor would stand up quickly, peer over my shoulder, turn her head this way and that, weighing up, and then select a few to take away with her. Once she tilted her head to the